What's up guys, Shane Starnes with High on Android, where we get... Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Huawei, did I say that right? Huawei P8 Lite. Now this is coming from the company that is producing the next Nexus, and I've never used a Huawei device. GearBest was nice enough to send me this device for review, so big shout outs to GearBest.com for that. I just really wanted to get my hands on one of these before purchasing the next Nexus device, the next Nexus 6. We're gonna quickly unbox this phone and give it a review. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so the fact is I actually unboxed this a while ago. I've actually been playing with it now for the past probably the past 2 or 3 weeks, but everybody always likes to see what's in that box, and this is an odd shaped box, so it actually opens up this way. You guys can see the Huawei logo there. You got the P8 logo on the front there, and then you got another Huawei logo right there. We slide the top off of the box. It's kind of strange because the phone was actually laying in here like that, so you kind of remove that, and then on the right side you have all of your instructionals and all of your manuals, and you got some Huawei stickers because you know you're going to want to be repping that Huawei phone on the back of your car or on your laptop or whatever. Then you got your Huawei quick start guide, so set that stuff to the side. If you open up this box, you got some little goodies here. Okay, so here you have an international charging brick. So for those of you in the US, this does you no good at all. You do have a nice and long USB 2.0 charge cable, micro USB cable there, and then you have some headphones. So that's better than what Samsung on Verizon did with the Note 5 by including some free headphones, so that's pretty awesome. Shout outs to Huawei for that. And then you've got a SIM card remover tool. So that's what you get up in the box, and for now, just go ahead and set all that to the side. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the device itself. This is the Huawei P8 Lite, and as you guys can see, it's made of plastic and glass. You've got a little bit of glass up here, so nice little glass accent up top. And then of course you got your glass display. The rim around the phone is plastic, but it feels metal. Really actually gives it a premium feel for such a budget-friendly device. On the bottom you can see they've taken some cues from Apple on that bottom grill. You've got your USB charge port here. You got your speakers there on the bottom. Bottom speakers are better than rear speakers because you know, you don't have to cuff your hand to get that sound to come to the front. It would be nice to have the speakers on the front, but it's a budget device and bottom speakers are better than back speakers. You've got power button and volume rocker on the right hand side. You've got your micro SD card slot and SIM card slot there. On the back you do have a 13 megapixel rear camera that shoots in 1080p, which is pretty nice, and a dual LED flash. On the front you've got your notification LED, you've got your phone speaker here, and then you have a 5 megapixel front facing camera. Alright, and for a quick size comparison, the Huawei has a 5-inch screen and the Moto X Pure has a 5.7-inch screen, and you guys can see the difference in screen size there. Not a lot of height difference. Okay, and then as far as a size comparison, you guys can see the Moto X Pure is much thicker than the Huawei P8 Lite. The Huawei P8 Lite is actually a very slim, and it's incredibly light. As far as like holding the device, it's super light. If we take a look at the screen is a 720p screen, and as you guys can see, it doesn't get very bright at all. You can see the pixels on the screen. Like with a Moto X Pure, you get 1080p. So coming from a phone like a Note 5 or a Galaxy S6, you're definitely going to notice the difference in the screens. 720p. The pixels per inch on this display is 294, and when you're talking about like a Note 5, you're above 500 on your pixels per inch. You're really going to see a difference in pixel density. This screen doesn't look nearly as clear as a 2K screen. Going from a 2K screen to this, you'll really notice the difference. If you've never had better than a 720p, then this screen is just fine. The Lenovo K3 Note had a 1080p display and was super bright. I really love the screen on that phone. We're not going to get the same thing here. But you have to remember that you're looking at a budget-friendly device. As far as viewing angles, the viewing angles are not the best here. But for the most part, you're going to be looking at your phone dead on. So unless maybe you're trying to share something with a friend, the viewing angles here are not really going to make much of a difference for you. If we look into settings and we go to About Phone, you'll see that we are running the MUI 3.1. So this is their skin overlay. It's not nearly as intrusive as, like, say, the Vibe OS on the Lenovo K3 Note, but it is not as pretty as just standard stock AOSP. And you do get some extras in this. You do get a little bit of bloatware here, and I'm not really necessarily a fan of the way that things are laid out, but that is just my personal opinion. Some people are going to really love this EMUI. So if you look here, we're running Android version 5.0. So it has Lollipop out of the box, which is really nice for a budget device. Now don't expect this device to be updated to Marshmallow, although it may, but you'll probably have a Lollipop device if you purchase this phone. So looking a little bit at the EMUI, there's no app drawer. You do have app folders, which is really nice, but a lot of these Chinese phones come with an iOS-esque experience, so you're not going to have that app drawer, and you're really going to have to just scroll through pages. You do have a recents button, you've got a home button and a back button. If we pull down the status bar, it is not the standard Android status bar that you're used to. Pull it down and you guys can see you have your notifications, your date, you have an updater, and then if you slide over, there's your toggles. So you have all your toggles, and as you guys can see, we're at the very brightest that the screen can be, and it's still pretty dim. Okay, if we turn the phone off and back on, you guys can see the lock screen. You get the clock, quick access to your camera. If you slide up, you get quick access to your flashlight, so that's a pretty cool feature. I like that a lot. You have quick access, once again, to your camera, calculator, and a recorder. Okay, so a few extras that we have here. Of course, you get your standard Google applications. You get their theming applications. If you're familiar with MyUI, then you already know about this style of theming app. So it's kind of also similar to the Samsung theme app, which is pretty cool. It looks like it comes with a set amount of themes, so I don't really see a theme store where you can go and grab extra themes, but you can change different aspects of the theme. Okay, other than that, you have a files application that's included. That's their file browser, which is actually pretty useful. It also has a cleaner here, so you can easily clean your RAM if things are slowing down. You only have 16 gigabytes of storage here, so you may find that things are slowing down, although it does have an octa-core processor clocked at 1.2 gigahertz, and I have found there to be no lag on this phone at all, especially, you know, for a budget device. There's no lag, so I really enjoy the smoothness, the silkiness. You guys can see that it moves through screens pretty quickly for a budget device. It's not slow and it doesn't hang up like you experience with some budget devices. If we go into this top applications, it comes stock with Twitter and this WPS Office. And if you go into tools, it comes with several of their applications. You've got the EMUI updater. You have a magnifier application, mirror application, weather, FM radio, backup, the SIM toolkit, the flashlight, and the screen lock. So really there's not a ton of bloatware. There's really not a whole lot of extra added on stuff, and I'm not seeing any of the bloatware that we saw with the Lenovo K3 Note with the pop-ups and what seemed to be malware on their device. Nothing like that here. Everything seems to be nice and smooth and silky. Real quickly, we'll take a look at the camera. We have some different modes here. The beauty mode is kind of like Samsung's beauty mode, where it just touches up the image. It kind of makes it look plasticky or fake. You've got the photo mode, video mode, and time-lapse mode. You have some included filters that you can apply to your photos. If we go into settings, you have different modes here. Panorama, there's an included HDR. There's the all focus, which is pretty neat because it allows you to change the focus on the image, kind of like a Litro box. It's pretty neat. You can change the focus on an image after the image has been taken, which is pretty cool. Best photo just takes several photos at once, and then it chooses the best photo. So like if somebody's not smiling in one of the photos, or if somebody blinks or whatever, you can choose the best photo out of the series. You can include a watermark and an audio note to your photos. If you go into settings, down at the bottom, you do have a couple of extra tweak settings. You've got ISO settings. That will definitely help you to get a better shot in different lighting scenarios. The lower the ISO, the less noise or the less grain in your image. So it's nice to be able to set that if you're out on a really bright sunny day. You can actually tone down the ISO a little bit to save yourself from graininess and noise. And then white balance. So if you take a shot and it looks super orange, you can actually change the white balance to make it look more natural. So real quickly, we'll test the camera itself. We'll test autofocus here just by taking a shot. Okay, as you guys can see, it was pretty quick, not the fastest ever. Once it has focus, shutter speed is actually pretty decent. As you guys can see, it lags just a little bit. Now this is really good lighting conditions, but the photos themselves, I've got really accurate colors. They're not leaning towards cool or warm at all. They actually look pretty accurate. The green here is pretty vibrant for a budget device. I'm seeing just a little bit of graininess on these pictures, even with really good lights, but it's really not noticeable at all. It actually, the picture looks pretty sharp. So for a budget device, the camera is actually a pretty nice camera. So anyways, guys, that about wraps it up for the quick review of the Huawei P8 Lite. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. You can find more of me on my channel at youtube.com/DroidModderX. I'm sure that Max will put a link in the description there. Also find more of me on Twitter at DroidModderX. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.